that there is a quorum present. As stated in the notice of regular meeting, the board may convene in closed session at any time they deem necessary under the application of provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, including the provision permitting closed session consultation with legal counsel. The board president may elect to address any items listed on the agenda in any sequence. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will give us the invocation.
Lord, please pray for the victims of last night's shooting in Las Vegas, and know that please thank you for bringing us all here together safely so that we can act in the best interest of our students, teachers, parents, and
Okay, there's nobody from the public forum. We'll get going right away. Ms. Martin will do a bunch of recognitions.
Good evening. Tonight we have several high school recognitions. First, I'd like to start with the 2017-2018 Honey Bears. First, I'd like to start with the 2017-2018 Honey Bears. Ms. Morrison. Will all y'all join me up here, please? We have Allison Kaiser, Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel Carly Easley, Major Brooke Kalinek, Social President Caitlin Warren, Social Historian Allison Hertz, Social Historian Wesley Kidd, Senior Destiny Stubing, Junior Winter Clark, Junior Nikki Ponce, Sophomore Christina Ochoa, Sophomore Aubrey Walterstorff, Freshman Kaylee Bean, Freshman Emma Barty, Freshman Trinity Dennis, Freshman Tori Miller, Freshman Annalie Powers, Freshman Bailey Rich, and managers Zadie Zamzow, Julia Torres, and Emily Burnham. In June, the Honey Bears line officers attended Crowd Pleasers Line Camp. There they were chosen to perform for the All-American Halftime Show for Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl in December. They received the Showstopper Award given by staff, along with receiving 90 and above on all 5 routines evaluated. In August, the entire team attended Crowd Pleasers Dance Camp, where they received a platinum score of 95 and above. They were also awarded the SAIL Award for their outstanding leadership skills on day 1 of camp, and an Outstanding Showmanship Award on final evaluations. Along with that, senior Allison Kaiser was nominated for the All-Star Award and is given the opportunity to perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. Please join me in congratulating the 2017-2018 Honey Bears under the direction of Melanie Morrison.
Ladies, we want to thank you again for your leadership and representing our school as you do, as well as serving as role models for our community. Thank you. We're so proud of our Honey Bears, and also I'd like to, if parents, can you raise your hands, please? Let's give our parents a big round of applause for all their support.
Next Next, I'd like to recognize Allison Hertz. Allison Hertz has been a member of Girl Scouts since kindergarten. At the end of the fall semester last year, Allison approached me about her proposal for her Gold Award. She wanted to focus on bullying and cyberbullying for her project by creating brochures, posters, and a website with information for junior high and high school students. Because it is National Anti-Bullying Month, I would like to recognize Allison for her project. She has distributed 7,400 brochures and 20 posters to Vernia High School, Vernia Junior High School, East Central High School, Heritage Middle School, and Legacy Middle School. She also has a counter on the website as well as the survey to measure the number of views by the end of October. Congratulations, Allison, and thank you for including us in your project. And Allison has some brochures and some posters to share with board members and Dr. Moreno.
Well, I asked Ms. Hertz to say a couple of words, but I think she says it all here with all the work she did. Let's give her another big round of applause. She's just a little bit shy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the board, it is my pleasure now to introduce to you Mr. Kyle Tellez. He is a student at our school who recently completed a graphic design internship this past summer at New Star in San Antonio. A rather prestigious selection, if I must say. He has a few words to say about what that internship entailed and what he did.
Well, Kyle, the internship was probably one of the biggest leaps that I've done. I have to fulfill a career path I wanted to go on. Which, if I didn't come to this school, I probably would have never had a chance to have an opportunity to go to a Fortune 100 company, to actually work in a real life setting, do real projects that actually going to be showing off to millions of people.
And Kyle has some items he's going to share with y'all.
Kyle, we'd like to thank you as well for your leadership, but also, I don't know, you realize what you just did as well in doing this, is that you're representing Vernia ISD, you're representing the Vernia community, and you're setting the pathway for many other students at this point. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Next, ladies and gentlemen of the board, it's my pleasure to introduce you Ms. Reagan Prishon. Ms. Prishon received the National Academy of Future Physicians and Medical Sciences Award of Excellence. According to the certificate that she's received, the Medical Advisory Board of the National Academy of Future Physicians and Medical Scientists confers honor and distinctions upon Ms. Reagan Prishon for outstanding academic performance, leadership potential, and dedication to serving humanity through the profession of medicine from the Congress of Future Medical Leaders 2017. Ms. Prishon, would you please kind of explain more about this particular honor?
Early in the fall of 2016, I got a letter to be able to go to Massachusetts to participate in the Congress of Future Medical Leaders. I went in June, I think, and I flew all the way to Massachusetts, and for 3 days we sat in a giant hockey arena in the floor where they play hockey, and we listened to people come up on stage and tell us about their accomplishments in the medical field. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. And we got to meet a lot of really great people, from NFL players to Nobel Prize laureates, and it was just phenomenal, and I can't wait to do it again this summer.
So Reagan, what branch of the medical field are you planning on going into?
I would love to be a surgeon, but due to medical reasons, I can't stand for long, so I don't know anymore.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to the discussion of the action items. We'll have the consent agenda items to be approved in one all-encompassing motion. If discussion is desired on a particular item, it will be removed from the consent agenda. The only thing we have is the minutes from the 9/11/17 meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All agree? Motion passes 6-0. The next item is the presentation and discussion of the district accountability results.
Trustees and community, at this point, I'd like to have Ms. Kelly Tabor come up and Jackie Simmons. And they'll be presenting our accountability for 2017. After that, we're going to have our principals come up. We'll be reviewing our district priorities, as well as them sharing some of the events and activities that they're working on at their campuses.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Tabor, and I'm Special Programs Coordinator and District Testing Coordinator.
And I'm Jackie Simmons. And I'm the Coordinator of Advanced Academics for the district.
So I'm going to start by reviewing some of the accountability results for 2017. As you all know, the state of Texas awards accountability to districts, public school districts, and campuses each year. The accountability ratings are based largely upon performance and standardized assessments and graduation rates. So now we're going to look at some of the reports. So this system for 2017 is similar, same as 2016. There are 4 indices, and each one encompasses different calculations and different student subgroups, different tests. And so we need to know what the magic formula is. So TA has put out a video that is a 1-minute video, so it's really short, but I felt like it was a good way to try to sum up this system.
More than 8,000 public schools in Texas. So how do you know how your school is doing compared to the one across town or in another part of the state? Well, every year, the Texas Education Agency, that's us, uses an accountability rating system to help answer that question. Almost every school gets one of 2 ratings, met standard or improvement required. That's easy enough, but what's the secret formula behind these ratings? No secret, really. We look at 4 basic areas. First, student achievement. Simply put, it's STAR test scores for the year. No tests don't tell us about your marching band or school spirit, but it is a way to fairly evaluate how all kids are doing on the same test in all parts of our state. Second, student progress. Are kids making progress in basic subjects like math and reading from year to year? If so, that's a good thing. Third, how are we doing at closing the performance gaps? Every student, regardless of economic background or ethnicity, should be doing well and making progress compared with everyone else in their class. Finally, post-secondary readiness. That's graduation rates and diplomas. And soon they will look at things like how many kids took dual credit classes or did well in career tech, things that translate into success after high school. That's it, the secret formula. And for those who get a Met Standard rating, there are up to 7 added honors. We call them distinctions that a school can earn in areas such as outstanding achievement in reading and math, or just getting kids to take the SAT or ACT. Want to learn more? Check us out online. We're the Texas Education Agency.
So while the accountability system is the same as last year, there are some changes to the tests that we have. So So just to review, we have the 2016 test, grade levels, and content areas that were tested. And it's the same grade levels and content areas in 2017. However, there are some differences. In 2017, the raw scores that were required to meet what is considered the minimum passing standard were increased because the state of Texas was listening to people who said the tests were too long, or kids are testing for too long of a period. So they made the test shorter. And so what that did was it increased the required raw score for students to meet that same passing standard. I'm sorry, the raw score is the same, the scale score went up. And then in the English 1 and English 2 area, the state eliminated the short answer questions and instead put in more multiple choice questions. So that was another change to the EOCs. And then you see at the bottom underneath STAR, the STAR L and STAR A are no more. And the reason is because the format of STAR changed. And so the assessments were available not only in paper, but also in an enhanced online version. And so what that did was allow more students to access the STAR test, and they took away the STAR L, which was a language accommodated test, and the STAR A, which was accommodated as well. So now there are only two versions of STAR in 2017, and that is the STAR, which we used to call the STAR General, General STAR, and then STAR Alternate 2. And then the other noteworthy change is the new terminology for the performance labels. So while the score for those standards did not change, the name of that standard did change. So level 2 is now called Master's grade level. Final level 2 is now called Meets grade level. Phase in level 2 is now called Approaches grade level. And level 1 is now called Does Not Meet. So the terminology changed a little bit. So here we have the summary report for the district as a whole, and the district and each campus has one of these. This is the summary report that shows the bar graph, and on the bar graph you see we have the lines here. This is the green line that is the target for index 1. Here's the target for index 2, for 3, and for 4. So out of those 4 indices you can see that the district not only met the target but also surpassed it. And the overall rating the district received was Met Standard. In order to receive Met Standard, the district only had to meet index 1 or 2, and then 3 and 4. And we met all 4 and exceeded those. So here is a breakdown of the indices based upon last year's performance. So the blue bar is going to be 2016. The red bar is the district performance for 2017. And then the green bar is the Region 20 performance, and the purple indicates the state performance. So you can see in index 1, 2, 1, 3, and 4, we surpassed the region and the state. We had a little dip in index 2, but we had growth in index 3. And the next slide shows you a breakdown of that index 1. So we have, if we look at all subjects tested, and then we look at each one, reading, math, writing, science, and social studies, you can see the same comparison. So last year to this year is the red, and the blue was last year, the red is this year. And in all of these, we surpassed the region's performance as well as the state performance. We had growth in the areas of math, and in science, and in social studies, while we stayed the same in all subjects in reading. And then writing, we're going to talk about district priorities later, and that's one of our priorities. System safeguards. In 2016, there were a possible 29 that we could meet. We got 24 out of 29. And in 2017, we got 26 out of 31. And participation rates, we met all of the indicators. Graduation rates, we met all of the indicators. And then the federal limits on alternative assessments, the state only allows us to have 1% of our student population who participate in the STAR Alt 2. And in the area of math, we exceeded that 1%, but that is because in the Vernia ISD, we know our students by name and need, and they're going to take the test that they need to take. So, in the intermediate scores, this is the summary page for intermediate. Again, you can see that the target here, the green line, in all 4 of the indices, the campus met and exceeded the target. The campus was rated Met Standard for that. The longitudinal comparison, this is, the blue is 2016 performance in each of the indices, and the red is the 2017 performance. They had growth in Index 3 and Index 4. Index 1 performance for all subjects, they went from 85 to 84 this year. Reading, again, both of these are slight, just percentage point dips. In math, they had growth. Writing, they stayed the same. And then they had a little dip in science from 16 to 17. In the system safeguards, the intermediate had 20 possible last year and 20 possible this year. That they reached 18 out of those 20 and met all of the participation rate. So here's a look at the possible distinctions. We're only going to look at 2 of the possible distinctions because in the top 25%, they compare us to 40 schools across the state who are most like us. And so for 2016, in the area of student progress, Vernia Intermediate had 50 points and they were just barely out of a distinction. They needed 1 more point to get a distinction. And if you look at 2017, they had 48 points. So they're very, very close again. They tied for 13th out of 40 possible schools in student progress. In closing performance gaps for 2016, they got 45 points. To get a distinction, they needed 53. And in 2017, they got 47 points. And they moved up some, and they were tied for 24th, and they still needed that 53. Junior high summary, again, here are the targets. So they met and exceeded all of the targets in each of the indices. Again, you only have to do 1 or 2 index to meet that standard, plus 3 and 4. And both of these campuses got all 4. So this campus got met standard. And if you remember from the 1-minute video, in order to be eligible for distinctions, you have to acquire the met standard, as they did. And then this part is important because our junior high did receive 4 distinction designations this year. These designations are, we're going to talk about those here in a minute. The longitudinal comparison, so junior high compared to our junior high last year, 16 to 17. They had growth in Index 1, Index 3, and Index 4. In all subjects, they had growth. All subjects, reading, math, science, and social studies. They dipped a little bit in writing. Again, that's one of our district initiatives. The system safeguards for junior high, they had a possible 22 last year and a possible 26 this year. And so there may be some variation because there's a minimum class size for each of those opportunities. You have to have a minimum class size of students for them to count. So that's the reason for the 22 to 26 possible. They got 20 out of 22 last year and 23 out of 26 this year. So they met all the participation rates at the junior high. And here are their distinctions. They got a distinction for academic achievement in math, academic achievement in social studies, and then top 25% student progress, and top 25% for closing performance gaps. So if you remember, we looked at these pages that show the comparison schools. So this was last year, way back in 2016, and Vernia Junior High was tied for number 3. They had 47 points, and the campus that got the most had 51 points. And then in 2017, again, they had 46 points. They were tied for 4th for student progress. In closing performance gaps in 2016, the reason this one's not green, they did not earn a distinction in 2016. So it's that beige color. They had 45 points. They needed 48 points in order to receive the distinction. And then in 2017, they were able to achieve that. They moved up to 49 points and they tied for 8th for closing performance gaps. There it is. 2017, the high school accountability summary. Again, the high school did a great job. They met all of their target and they exceeded them in each of the indices. They also achieved Met Standard rating. Man, this thing. Oh, this is right. So high school, compared to the high school performance for last year. They had growth in all 4 of the indices: student achievement, progress, closing performance gaps, and in post-secondary readiness. If we look at how they did in the next one, they had all subjects grew, reading they grew, math they stayed the same, but in science and social studies they had growth there as well. System safeguards for the high school. Last year they had a possible 20, this year they had a possible 20. And so they achieved 2 more and met 2 more of those indicators than they did last year. So now the only missed indicators they have are special ed reading and special ed math. They met all of their participation indicators and also all of their graduation rates. So if you notice, the high school is the only one that has that extra row there for graduation rates, and they did achieve those. So here is the chart showing the top 40 schools that are compared to Vernia High School. In 2016, Vernia High School achieved 24 points out of a possible, 44 is the top campus up there, but they needed 32 in order to get a distinction. So in 2016, they were tied for 26th in student progress. And in 2017, they're again at 26th, but they have 28 points and they needed 34. In 2016, for closing performance gaps, the high school had 46 points. They only needed 49, so they're really close. They were tied for 22nd. But in 2017, they made a big jump. They got 50 points. They were 3 points away from a distinction in closing performance gaps, so now they're tied for 13th, moving in the right direction. And so, because that's the state standardized test accountability system, we have our own kind of checkpoints for those grades that aren't tested by the state. And we use an assessment for reading, and it's called DRA. And so I just wanted to share with you some reading performance at the primary grades. And so you see at the bottom it says 4 plus, and then 16 plus and 28 plus. And so based upon our assessment, the level 4 is the level that we want our students to be at the end of their kindergarten year. If they're above that, they're also included in this column, is why it says 4 plus. And for first grade, we want them to be at a level 16 or above, second grade, a level 28 or above. So you can see in 2016 in the blue, 84% of our kindergartners in May during the assessment were at a level 4. And in May of 2017, we had 87% that were level 4 or above. First grade, we had a little dip. First grade is one of those grades where there are lots of TEKS that are introduced new for the first time. So, that might be part of the dip, but it's also a very small percentage there, from 72 to 71. And then in second grade, we had 78% of our students were reading on grade level at the end of their second grade year. And then in 2017, in May, we had 80%. So those are our reading performance levels at the primary. And now, Jackie Simmons is going to talk to you about the advanced academics. Okay, can y'all hear me? How about I do this?
How about I do this? That'll be easier. Okay, so hi, I'm Jackie Simmons. I'm the coordinator of advanced academics. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our AP, SAT, and ACT scores. So first, this is not really in the accountability, but I thought it was an interesting number. We tend to think of students that take AP tests as just being seniors, or maybe juniors and seniors. But this past year, we actually had 5 freshmen take an AP test. We had 63 sophomores take it, 69 juniors, and then 91 seniors. So it's really, all 4 years, there's opportunities for them to take an AP test. And an AP test is an advanced placement exam. It's through the College Board. It is a program that works, the objective is to increase the rigor of the class that they're taking AP, but the other is students have the opportunity to get college credit. They will take the AP class, and in May, they will sit for the AP exam for that class, which is the equivalent of a course in college. A 3 is the minimum score that colleges will take to give them credit. In 2015, a bill was passed that state schools have to take, if they score a 3, they have to take the credit, but if, for example, it's the class, like say biology. If you're going to UT or A&M or something like that, and that biology course is gonna be a prerequisite for something else, they will take the credit, but if you score 4, and so on. So they would take the credit as an elective otherwise. So, but that did pass, so 3 is the point that you want to get to, and then everything above that. And then it truly just is about individual schools and having to know what the schools want, because it's different based on your major and everything else. But if you look at 2016, the percentage of our total AP students that scored